This camera first, man. Hello, hello, hello. And welcome to another one line of code. Apparently, I set my countdown timer to tomorrow, which is why it looked like it reset to 59 minutes for the stream to start, but actually, it was 23 hours and 59 minutes. Anyway, hi. Hello, all of you amazing, wonderful people. Welcome to the stream. I'm Batman. I mean, I'm one lion, and you all are amazing. You know what today is? Do you know what today is? Good VJ says today is Friday, but do you know what else that means? Today is the day that Mojo Fawad says hello. Hello, Mojo. 100 days of pure magic. And check out our progress at the project website. Well, today is another wonderful day to be a developer. That's what it is. But also, yes, Community Day. You've got it. So, in a little bit, I will be inviting anyone who happens to have any topics that they would like to talk about using their wonderful voice to our Discord, one of the waiting voice channels in Discord, so that we can have a discussion if you so feel like it. Your voice will come through on the stream, and the stream will be recorded and posted to YouTube 24 hours after we end the stream. So if you aren't comfortable with that, then I would recommend not joining the voice channel. Otherwise, yeah. So with that in mind, also please do keep in mind that I like to keep the topics more focused on technology, on programming, on software, and topics related to this channel, essentially, as well as being considerate of others, since we're going to have a variety of ears listening in. So just being considerate, that's all. Anyway, I'm still getting stuff set up. I've been doing so much UI work lately, and I think that's what. No, we're still working on something else. Okay, good, good. Can I get the project open? Do I know how to open the project? I want to close this. I want to close this. I want to close. Oh no, I want to keep that open. All I wanna do is clickoo, 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 and have some fun. While I'm waiting for things to open, hello, Dukasoft. You were indeed the first one. And Good VJ came in shortly thereafter. Actually, Dukasoft Bot came in and let us all know what time it is. And Tyron's here. Abaddis came in. Hello, Abaddis. And Mojo Fawad. Mojo backwards. No, we must Mojo forward. I'm here. Sagat. Okay, almost set up. Almost. It's 11 p.m. in India. I'm sorry that it's so late for you when I stream. Good VJ. I hope you're able to find other good streamers during the day. We have plenty of really good streamers on Twitch. Lots and lots and lots to choose from. I turned down my volume too much. I can't hear the music. Okay, I think, and I think. So now I will stop thinking. You have a meeting in 30 minutes. Okay, so you already want to talk then? You want to hop into voice channel, or do you want to just chat it out? Definitely your choice. Which means that I also want to start my virtual camera in OBS and turn it on in Discord. But yes, I am set up, and it is officially time to start Community Day, so I invite anyone who wishes to use their beautiful voice to hop into a Discord voice channel, and I'll pull you into. Oh, cool. Oh, the meeting shouldn't take too long. Gotcha. Yeah, the stream is going to be the whole 2 hours today. I plan on it being the normal length. Normal length, even though normal length used to be like 6 hours every day. But we'll see how that goes. Okay, so still, invitation will remain open. That's probably one thing that I can put down here at the bottom is the invitation to the Discord on community days. So what would that look like? And Good VJ says, no worries. When it's Friday nowadays, I've watched streams all night when it was university days, just working schedule exhausted me. So you are done with university? Are you like done, or are you just on a break, or what? Because I know that you were looking for the company to do the work training new hire thing. You graduated with your bachelor's. Congratulations. You probably told me before, and I will probably forget again in the future, but I'm congratulating you now. And every single time you remind me, I will congratulate you because that is a massive accomplishment. So good on you. Cheers. Cheers. Speaking of chairs, I have not sat at my desk since forever. Abaddis is congratulating you too. Awesome. I love the love you guys always give. It's so cool to see. What we were doing last was trying to come up with a clever way to turn all of our resource strings into consts, into constances, so that we don't have to worry about using magic strings in here. So if we ever change a name entry in our resources dictionary for localization, we will get an error, and then we'll be able to find those a lot easier than just seeing hero subtitle when we change the actual key or entry name for the entry for hero subtitle in our resources dictionary, for example. So here's hero title, hero subtitle. If I ever came in here and said, I don't want this to say hero subtitle anymore, and it's not read only, why are you read only? Anyway, if this file was not read only and I decided to change this to something else, I won't get any errors in the app, but when we look at it, this thing is just going to say hero subtitle because there is no matching entry in our resources dictionary. Also, all of our translations will, if I had an entry in here for hero subtitle, all of those would be orphaned, and we would really have no way to know. Oh. And there's really no way of determining. Like, what I was also wanting to do is when we make a change to this name. Oh, I know what it is. It's probably trying to recompile every single time that I touch it. But every single time that I try to make a change, it's probably. Sorry, not every single time that I try to make a change. What I would like to do is when we do change one of these, it matches the value. Possibly. No, I can't match the value. Gorsh. That's a toughie. Yeah, I just won't update the names. Ever. That's the point of it. I won't update the names so that we don't have to worry about needing to update any of the translations in any of the dictionaries. Yeah, there is a thing that I would like to do. Okay, so let me turn off this thing here just to see if that's the thing that's keeping me from being able to modify this. It's not. Why can't I modify this resources file? I'm confused already. We haven't even started the stream and I'm confused. Okay, close the files, reopen you. Okay, I can modify that one. I can modify them now. I don't know what was going on. That was odd. Okay, so what I was trying to do was create a source generator that every time we made a change to the resources dictionary, we would create a new class called shared localization entries. And for every single entry in our shared localizer service resources dictionary, not any of the localized ones, um, we would create a public const string, and then the name that we put in here equals name of that const. And that way we have a one-to-one correlation of our constants to our named entries in the resources dictionary, but that also means that we would not be able to, unless we did more magic, like using regex to replace all non-variable name characters with an underscore, and also checking to see does this entry start with a number, in which case we would need to prefix it with an underscore. So we'll just have the adopted convention that none of our names will have spaces, apostrophes, dashes, etc. They'll just be variable names, essentially. Makes sense? Makes sense to me. But I really, 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 really thought that there was a way to tell this thing to generate code for you. I found it. So if I did this, then that kind of gives us what I'm looking for free. So we don't need a source generator for this at all. What does that actually mean for me? What does that really mean? How do I use this then? Let's see. We now have a file that is automatically generated for us so that when we just ask for that specific string from shared localizer service, which is a public class, it's just in this namespace. Yeah. Okay. So what would happen if I instead, are these all static? Static string. Yeah, these are all static strings. So what I should be able to do is everywhere that I'm using this shared localizer angle or square bracket, we should be able to replace it with share. I'm just going to fully qualify it so that I can swap them out. Resources localization dot hero title text. Oh, shared localizer service dot hero title text. And what this should do is give us back the localized value for this, at least according to the get. Return resources manager dot get string hero title resource culture, where resource culture is static global system globalization culture info culture. So this will set the current UI culture or set this file's current culture to the current UI culture. Yeah, so that should work. So let's do it. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to do a control H. We're going to do a regex find and replace. We need this to be a literal quotation marks, literal angle brackets, and this will be anything, any non-space character. At least one. Then it falls back to the main localizer service regex. And we should see that. So we may as well test that now. On start, I know how to do this in Maui, in WPF. I don't know if our Maui app works. I think it does. But let's say on start, we want to set the culture by changing system globalization. Oh, we have to create a new culture. Anyway, let's just using system.globalization var culture equals new culture info from. Let's do the one that we have in here, which is, no, we have ENUS in here. Does anyone know any cultures off the top of your head? Any, what are they called? Locales? No. Regional codes? FR. FR. French, please. Okay, so let's create a French shared localizer service. En FR FR regex. Right. I don't think that I can create it that way because it doesn't set everything up the way that it's supposed to. I pushed add. Control Shift A, which should have given me new item. Interesting. So this is what the add new file looks like from now on. Unless it's still really going to the add new file extension. Oh yeah, just copy paste the other. Well, the other one doesn't really have anything, but you're right. I mean that could still work. Thank you, Tara. Okay, so FRFR, and let's do the hero subtitle because that's, wait, which one did I already do? Hero title, and then a hero titles alone, which I didn't actually open FRFR. Paste you in, and then we'll find the value for hero title, which probably shouldn't be. Oh yeah, it should. Okay, so we're going to Kansas City. Today's a music day. Although I'm not really good at picking good musical quotes from good songs. I mean, unless you like that song. No offense intended. Translate English to France. Okay, so we're going to test if we have um, an entry, a matching resources file that has an entry that matches that key, that it actually shows us the translated version. Then we're going to change it to a locale that is not, that we don't have a matching resources dictionary entry for, and see that it's only going to show the English value, the non-translated value, I should say, invariant value. Okay. Is that everything that I needed to do? I didn't actually change the locale. Cool. And that should update our locale to France. We're going to set this as our startup project. So we spent all of Monday's stream creating a source generator that I'm just not going to use because resource files have their own source generators already. Oops. And then as far as the sizing issue with the resize handles, I still don't have a good solution for that. I've tried about 8,000 different things. And so it's almost looking like we're just going to roll with the current resize handles as they are, which is kind of sad. That didn't work. ¿Y por qué no? No trabajé. Is this not the same? Am I setting the wrong culture info? Oh. Do, 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 do. Baga no baga no baga. I wonder if we can modify this thing. We might still use our own. I just had a thought. Ignore it for now, but I will let you know what my thought is in a couple of hours. Language equals get language, return language. Is this the right? Yeah, it is. Apply active language. Which is just setting the flow direction. Great, thank you. Not helpful. Which one of you guys wants to be my code for language changed? Languages.razor, language selection card. Gotta be inside of this thing. On change, handle language changed. Here we go. That one's still not it. I'm pretty sure. Localize context dot language changed. That's also setting left to right. You know what? Main. It's gotta be in here. There we go. That is setting flow direction. Great. Why are all of my language changed? Only just setting flow direction. Which one of you actually sets the language for the current thread? Oh my gosh. This is language changed, and I'm pretty sure that this one is setting the HTML lang tag, lang attribute, and RTL if needed. And that is what it's doing. Jiminy Christmas. Does anyone want to tell me what happens when the language changes? Anyone at all? Help. Selected language equals. Yeah, that's fine, but there is no callback. Here it is. Okay. Preferences state. I put my language selector in user preferences. Does that make sense to do? What's that? The logic might actually be in our backend code for this. That's funny. Yeah, the logic is in our backend. Which one of you guys wants to be the right library? Stumbling IR. Okay, who has the logic Language changed. Okay, you're allowed to find files. There you go. Good job, you. That one is not the right one. That's the interface. And who implements you? Many people. There we go. Okay, so we create the new culture. And so long as it is a supported language, we set the language property. But where are we updating the actual culture? Not sure if this is helpful. Let's find out together. We create specific language. Change the current culture. So culture info. If thread culture name is. Oh, this is just toggling back and forth, right? Okay. So yeah, we are only going to this one. Thread.current culture and current UI culture need to be updated, not default UI culture. Thank you, GitHub Copilot, for your assistance with doing this wrong. I mean, I guess I didn't really actually verify it. I just kind of took it as is. So yes, Dukasoft, I do believe that was helpful. I appreciate it. Let's find out if it works. Yes, yes it did. Okay, so now we know that if we set our language, get good, Copilot. If we set our language to something that we have a resources dictionary entry for in that language, we will get back the translated value. Awesome. Second thing to check is what happens when we supply a value that is not one that we have, such as in Japanese. JAJP. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This maybe it does need to exist. Does it have to be a valid culture that we put in there? How about Italian? Italian works better. It is JAJP. Woohoo! Thank you, Tyron. You're so helpful. Okay, so if we change it to a language that we don't have a dictionary for and or don't have a, I guess I'm going to create one of those real quick. Since we know that it's JAJP, we'll create a JAJP, but we will leave off the hero title entry. And so for Italian, you used to be in charge of localization for SQL Server in another life. Awesome. Well, you are very valued and helpful and appreciated. Okay, so it fell back to our English translation or non-localized value. That's what I keep meaning to say. When we don't have a dictionary for it. And now, if we do have a dictionary, but we don't have an entry, then we should also fall back to the invariant, to the non-localized value. That is correct. Otherwise, we would have been seeing the variable name instead. So good. We now have our logic for updating our language. So let's really quick just create something in our state class. Which is where? Excuse me, what's our state class called? UI state. Okay, so I'm going to put our language in UI state. We're going to create a backing field for our active language. We're going to create the property for our active language. And we're going to subscribe to UI state on active language changed in our app.saml by doing is Maui smart enough to already have a DI container by the time we get to here? Can I do a dependency injection for IUI state here? Oh, speaking of, I need to put it in IUI state. String active language. Right. And what I really want this to be is a read only with a method for void set language. And in fact, I don't want you to be nullable. Good grief. All of these things that I'm like cowboy coding. Blech. We'll just have this default to ENUS, since that is the default language of this application. Then we will get active language. There is no setter for it. So there is no subscribing to UI state.set active language. So I would prefer to have then an event function of task active language changed. Thank you. Which should be nullable. Like, is there a way for me to do an event callback inside of a class? I think I've asked about this before, and I don't think there is. Like, it doesn't work the same if I made this a public event callback of string. Does it? Because I don't know how to subscribe to it. Is that what the issue is? Let's find out together. I think you can only have one thing subscribed to it. I think that's what the issue was. So we're not going to find out together. I'm just going to make assumptions. Do you give us an exception? Culture not found. Try. Culture not found exception. Which, oops, not, didn't go down enough. What we're going to do with this culture not found exception is set the default language to English. I mean, set the language to English because we know that that one exists. Yes, flip that exception. Oh man, I really, really, really wish I knew how to do to make emotes. Like I'm gonna try. I'm using AI to give me inspiration and a helping hand for creating emotes. But I want to make a lion flipping table animated emote. Oh, I guess we don't really need the discard variable if we're not using the exception. And then we'll just make a a private const string default lang. And you actually, by naming convention, since you are a pull it up to base notify property changes. No. um, since you are a private field, even though you're a const, which Java developers and maybe C++ developers will be like, that needs to be something like default language. But it's a private field to .NET, and so the naming conventions are telling me it really should be underscore default language underscore camel case for private fields, even though it's a const. So I don't know how you feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that. Because like, how am I going to know the difference between this and an instanced private field? But anyway, oh, right, right. Actually, I will need to also update language to default language if we can't find the requested language. Then we'll set active language, and then we will invoke, we'll raise the event that says we have changed the active language. So in app.xaml, if we actually do get a UI state, we will be able to UI state dot active language changed plus gets handle active language changed. And so the reason that I care about language changes in my main page, not here, IUI state is because, or in any of my windows actually, is because there is this property on Windows. So this is a content page, which is not going to be a window. So I don't know if it has it, but we're going to find out. Return task, completed task for now. There is a thing called flow direction, and it is here. And so if our language, if our selected language is a right to left language, oh, why didn't you give me, oh, input of string and then an output of task, my bad. Or was the reasoning that I had is because we're going to have a UI state anyway, so we can just use, dude, I want to control dot private read only, yeah, because this is a constructor. My fingers are in the fully wrong place. IUI state, which we are setting here. Okay. Flow direction equals, uh, gosh, how do I want to do that? I normally want to create an extension for finding out if just doing something like this, but I want to write an extension off of string that checks to see is that string a right to left language, because I'm sure I'm going to want to use it in the Blazor portion when I am setting the lang direction attribute or the dir attribute when languages change. So anyway, we're just going to do something simple for now, which is have ourselves a merry little Christmas. Private read only, static string RTL languages. And I'm going to pick the, oh, gosh, what are the parts of a language code? Because I want to name it correctly, of course. The whole thing is called the culture, and the culture is split into language, sublanguage, country, region. So it's just language and sublanguage? Livecoding has work to do. I hope there are 17 other people on the call today. Microsoft did it. He made a lion flipping a table. Well, at least an orange tabby. But hi, Livecoding, and I hope your meeting goes well, or your call goes well. Culture names. The name is a combination of a 2 or 3 letter culture code and an associated 2-letter uppercase subculture code. Okay, so RTL culture codes. I guess the only other question that I would have before I commit to that is, are there subculture codes where I'm asking this question like I'm talking with ChatGPT now. Actually, you know what? I got accepted as well, so I did the whole open edge, and it said, "Hey, there's a new chat thingy. Do you want to try the chat thingy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want to try the chat thingy. Here, get on our waiting list." But then they wrote me back and said, "You're in. You got it. Cool." Anyway, are there subculture codes where the culture code or uh, that have a different right to left flow than the culture code? Let's see if Bing understands my question. Could you clarify what you mean by subculture codes? Um, the what are the words that you used in here? You used ISO 639. I mean the culture code to be the ISO 639 part of a culture name, and the subculture code to be the ISO. And the thing I don't like is when it asks you for clarification, it uses up one of your six that you can have in this chain of conversation. It's like if I can't give it to you in six, it's not worth giving it to you. Hello, Hans Haplasti. Hans Haplas. Dang, that was hard. Any ideas about resources? Good to learn some solid .NET foundations. Been working with Unity and C# for a couple years, but haven't learned much related to .NET besides building a small Blazor portfolio site to showcase some of my work. That is a great project to start off with, I must say. If you feel like sharing that, please do. We do have places in our Discord where you can share it, but you can also share it in chat if you're up for it. But other than that, yeah, the resources that I have been using, like that I used initially to learn Blazor specifically, which also covers a lot of the foundations of using .NET in general, like dependency injection and creating new projects using Visual Studio and or Visual Studio Code. But a lot of them are from the .NET channel. Wait, was that another Blazor United thing? Oh, from 2 weeks ago. Oops. Um, so the actual .NET channel has this a whole bunch of playlists, and one of their playlists is focused around what's new in .NET 6. Let's learn .NET, and then there's this Blazor Hybrid. Wait, why are you using Blazor Hybrid as your Let's Learn .NET? Auth and identity. Oh my gosh. This sounds crazy. This sounds a bit intense, but this playlist has a lot of topics. Although they seem to be practical topics, more like let's learn by doing. I was trying to give you something that actually talks about here's the overall goal of using .NET as a software development framework. But yeah, the .NET channel in itself, if you're looking for specific topics, is a great one. Oh man, I haven't had to give anyone advice on picking up the concepts for .NET specifically. It's usually someone has been doing Java or C or C++, and they're coming over to C Sharp, and they're wanting some info about getting started with C Sharp or no programming experience at all. And they're like, how do I get into doing C Sharp development? But you have actual software development. You know C Sharp, it seems like, since you've been doing C Sharp with Unity for a couple of years, but that's mostly .NET Framework and Mono. So it's not the entire .NET ecosystem. Gosh. And the project structures are a lot different. So I guess my question to you, Hans, is do you have anything specific that you're interested in doing, like any specific industry or type of application, like web development specifically? Because that would be like going a little bit more specific to ASP.NET. Desktop development, cross platform development. What type of apps are you interested in making? Are you looking for IoT apps to run on your IoT devices? Are you looking for, I don't know, productivity applications? Are you looking for web, like full on web applications that people can interact with? I hope I'm not inundating you too much. But yeah, just let us know and maybe we can narrow it down more to give you some specific resources. But definitely the .NET channel. If it's Blazor specific, then you have things like the coding train. Not coding train. He's cool though. He's JavaScript. What I meant was Blazor train with Carl Franklin. He has a lot of tutorials. A guy named Patrick God that I absolutely love. And I only use .NET MAUI for everything. That's kind of hard to read into. .NET MAUI is the only one that supports cross, or sorry, no, Xamarin supports cross plat. Xamarin supports mobile development. MAUI supports cross-platform development. Yes. So you can do MAUI and get Windows, Mac, iOS, Android, Tizen. And because Blazor is a thing, you can use Blazor for the UI and have a project right next to it that is a web project that uses the same user interface, maybe has a few different service implementations. Console apps is pretty much the basis of all .NET applications. So I would say you can use console apps for everything. Thank you, Dukasoft. Glad to see we hit the 100-day mark. Cheers. This is a bad thing. This is a super bad thing. Oh my gosh, and he's making fun of me for it. I do so little during the streams. Oh my gosh. 100 days of pure magic. Check out our progress. Oh my goodness. Basically, I've been laid off recently. And job search in games industry isn't great at the moment. So looking at how to leverage my C# experience and learn some hearable stuff. What does hearable mean? Absolutely. And if you don't like video tutorials or video lessons, then you can also check out things like aka.ms/awesomeblazor. Awesome Blazor. And again, these are specific to Blazor. Hireable. Thank you. I can read. I don't know some stuff that will get me hired. Cool. I don't know if it's a delay and you're just now answering my questions, but yeah, I'm working in a .NET development position using Blazor for desktop apps. And from what I hear, this is not that typical, even though it seems typical to me because my last two jobs were Blazor web development and now Blazor desktop development. But a lot of like the majority of technologies that I hear about throughout the company. Thank you. English is weird. The majority of the technologies that I hear about at the company that I am hired by, so Sagetti, which now that I'm mentioning their names, um, I would like to state that any views and opinions I share on my channel are my own and not necessarily the views and opinions of Sagetti or Capgemini or any of its subsidiaries. Um, anyway, a lot of them are Java backends with Angular or React frontends. Like Java Spring seems to be the thing if you're into backend stuff. And front end has been predominantly JavaScript frameworks. So Angular, React, and I haven't heard much from Vue lately. Is it dead? Or have I just not been listening? Nancy Yellow says, I'm a .NET dev. I tried to define infra using C# and I don't like it. Do you think it may be a personal crisis or something else? So I'm not really very into backend myself. And it sounds like the predominant languages to use for doing infra are YAML. YAML this, YAML that, YAML templates for everything. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know enough about that area to let you know whether you're just overreacting, which I doubt, or if C sharp just isn't a good language for what's the phrase that you use? Defining infra. I don't know enough about it. Is that Sensei is not Maui plus Blazor server runs on Mac, Linux, and web compatible. Okay, so Maui by itself and Blazor by itself. Wait, what am I trying to say? Maui plus Blazor is a thing. Maui plus Blazor server, unless you're saying like a Maui project that has Blazor for the UI and then a separate Blazor server project next to it, then yes. Blazor server is a web technology that is used for making web applications that are served from a server, and then there's an active connection between them during the entire run of the application for that client. So, because it's a web application, anyone can use it that has a browser that is compatible, that any modern browser essentially. Maui plus Blazor server sounds to me just like a side by side Maui plus web project, such as in this one, which is old, out of date, but it still kind of works. So in this project, I have one Razor class library that is all of the Blazor UI stuff, a separate Blazor web application, which again, I wouldn't have the app.razor in here anymore. Now that I know, I would put the app.razor in my UI project. But anyway, I have a separate Blazor web application that's Blazor server. I have a separate Blazor WASM application that uses the same UI. And I have the Maui using a Blazor WebView component control. And they all just point to this thing as their UI. And that's kind of what we're doing with this app too. We have our Maui app, we have a Blazor server app, and then we have a WASM app with hosted backend. I don't know where the WASM is. WASM? Here it is. So here's the WASM app. This is an API that just receives requests. This is API requests. This is and then Blazor server. Which Blazor United is going to change this entire project structure eventually. Because it would be nice to be able to mix in static pages that are separate from the running application. So when this app in specific starts up, yes, give me this. Var hold on 12 seconds while I fill in some blanks. Okay, so you should build now and run. Here we go. Okay, so this page here is a static page. There is nothing really Blazor about it other than I'm using Razor markup to generate the HTML. This could just as easily be a HTML page with one Blazor component that is my login component. But everything else is just static content. Ooh, we got a link. Is it okay if I show the link on stream? Or would you rather not have it? Because this video is going to be recorded and posted to YouTube, or is being recorded and will be posted to YouTube 24 hours after the stream. Cool. Ooh. Ah, that's awesome. Is this just a screenshot or holy cow, what did that? Oh, because I did page source. Or is this like an actual 3D canvas? Ah, image. That's cool though. That's really cool. I do like the layout. I like how smooth it feels. I like the breaking up of the content using sections like this. Yeah, this is really well laid out. This is better UI than I could put together. My UI is my UI skills are terrible. So for not being a web developer, this is pretty good. Show me. And you got stuff on itch. Oh my gosh. I would play these, but I'd, I'd probably get addicted. Oh, yeah. These games look awesome though. Do you stream, by the way? Do you do any of your game dev work on Twitch? Because I love watching game devs. I like how it's auto scrolling now after some time. Man. And you said you did this in Blazor by yourself? That's pretty awesome. Here's the loving div ID app, and then your page. You can't stream unable to do two things at the same time. You don't have to. You can, like, I'm failing right now at doing anything, but the whole point of streaming really is hanging out with a community that is, I don't know, this community is awesome. I have to say that. I'm gonna have to say that. Anyway, I needed to do this. Um, Perfect. Perfect. This is exactly what I was looking for. Thank you. Who said I didn't need to write any code anyway? I can just focus on talking with you, hit enter, and hit tab every now and then, and I'll have my project written. But this is definitely the logic I was wanting to implement. Yeah, it's Blazor from what I remember. I just stripped down the weather forecast based project. Perfect. Yeah, I mean that's definitely where you start. Create file new project. They give you and that's the thing, like learning .NET would mean understanding a console app and how you set up your own dependency injection container so that you can contrast that with how .NET sets up dependency injection for you in other projects like an ASP.NET web application or Blazor application. But yeah, as far, I just have no recommendations for learning .NET per se. I guess I am Tim Corey has courses that are like that. But he's more focused on specific technologies within .NET. Yeah. So like MVC applications, WPF applications, Entity Framework as a technology that you can use in any of them, web APIs. Here's the video. I can't tell you whether or not this is a good video, but the title on it sounds like something that would be important to know. The difference between .NET Core and .NET Framework. It's from 3 years ago, and since then, .NET Core is now, they dropped the word core and then started from five, the number five. So .NET Framework is one development target framework, and it's quite different than .NET Core as a development framework. Um, and this video probably explains the difference between them. So when he's talking about .NET Core, think of anything that is .NET Core 2 through .NET Core 3 through .NET 5, because anything that will say .NET Framework 4.x, that's .NET Framework. But .NET 5, .NET 6, .NET 7, and upcoming .NET 8, those are all .NET Core, but it's now just one big .NET family. There is no more .NET Framework. I mean, .NET Framework 4.x is still being updated and maintained, but that's not going to change to .NET 5 or anything. I have a feeling that one day they are going to drop support for .NET Framework, though. There's also Nick Chapsis. Oh my gosh! But so I hesitate. Like I love recommending Nick, um, Nick, Nick, because he comes up with some clever things and he explains things pretty well. But he's at a more low level. Like he gets into the weeds of things, and he gives really good tips. A lot of them are strongly opinionated in a way that means do this because it's the cool way of doing things sometimes. Sometimes. A lot of times it's because this is more efficient or this is the right way to do it, in his opinion. But man, he comes up with a lot of really, really cool stuff. But sometimes it's just elegance. Sometimes it's just gymnastics. But it's really good stuff in the end. And apparently he's been doing a podcast for the past 2 months. I've been keeping up. Yeah, cool. So you already have familiarity with him. Yeah, definitely to keep feel free to keep asking questions. Again, I invite you to our Discord. We have a lot of awesome people in there that are willing to answer questions in your journey while you learn .NET. Yeah, C Sharp Fritz, good grief. I just saw him in the podcast thing, but his whole thing is let's learn .NET together, .NET in general. So C Sharp Fritz, if you haven't already heard of him, I just assume that you have heard of him. But he's on Twitch, he streams live. Yeah, I definitely said Patrick God. He's on my top 5 list of people to watch. But yeah, here's C Sharp Fritz. He's a personality too. He's a really cool personality. Okay, okay, okay. We got somewhere. Where? I don't know where. Yeah, you're welcome. And again, just because we answered that question doesn't mean you can't ask more. So definitely feel free, especially today. So on Fridays, I like to make it as much about the community as I can. So if you want to actually verbally discuss stuff, then I currently have the voice channel in Discord coming through the stream. You can see the little icon at the top right, up, up, up there, that lights up whenever I speak. That's me on Discord. And so if you have any topics that you want to discuss, then, oh, and a follow. Thank you so very much for that. If you have any topics that you actually want to discuss using your voice, then you can hop into the stream waiting room and I'll pull you into the stream voice channel. And somehow I lost my activity feed. Dude, don't close. You go there. Okay, but yeah, thank you for the follow. And just so that you know, your voice will come through on the stream. Video will be recorded and posted to YouTube 24 hours after the stream, or maybe longer, but no less than 24 hours. Ah, that's the word. No less than 24 hours after the stream ends. And I will end the stream in about 45 minutes because I'm still in my normal workday. I live in Colorado, which means that it is 11:45 for me right now. I start my streams at 10:30. Awesome. Yes, and we will be here. And then I stream typically Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We have a release coming up, so my schedule is going to be all over the place. I might have to cancel a couple more streams depending on how inundated I get with new features. I've addressed all of the bugs that were assigned to me, so that's done. Now I'm just implementing new features, which is so much fun. Oh my gosh, I love writing Blazor code. Okay, what were we doing? We finished actually. So I wrote the handle active language change so that when we change the language, we update the culture, or we actually did that in the UI state, but we update the flow direction of our main window. So if we pick a language that flows right to left, then the title bar will reverse directions and the window will flow right to left. But we would also need to do something in our UI so that we can add the direction to index.html. So in order for it to show up right to left, we would need dir RTL added up here. And you can use this dir attribute on any element, but this will do it for the whole app, for the whole UI. And I have JavaScript for that. We're not going to do that at the moment because the thing that our branch is for is to remove magic strings. And so what we're going to do then is finish our regex find and replace for all of our this things. And we're going to find anything that says shared localizers, shared localizer, square bracket, quotation mark, any non-space character, at least one non-space character, close quotation mark, close square bracket, and we're going to replace it with and I'm going to make this easier on myself by putting this inside of index.razor. Where even is this project? I'm so lost. Imports.razor. And that's somewhere down here. I don't know. Shared localization. Okay, which will give us this everywhere in our UI. And so we'll just be able to change this to shared localizer service dot whatever it is that we found. That should do it. So let's replace it everywhere in the current project. And we have, oh, because I didn't turn on regex find and replace. You can see that we are matching every single one of these. And then we should have matched some in data entry, some in deposit entry, some in payment, some in transfer, etc. And so now all of those are updated. We try a build. And I completely missed one of SSH's questions. Do you have to use Blazor WASM? When can you use Blazor Server? You don't have to use either at all if you don't feel like it. So this is definitely a topic that is discussed a lot on many channels. My stuff kind of comes down to opinion based off of what I remember hearing about the pros and cons of using them, but I would recommend looking for a video that actually goes into more details and reasons why one should be used over the other. But the differences between them is that Blazor WebAssembly will be shipped, the entire application DLLs will be shipped to the browser. So instead of serving page by page, send a message to the server, get an updated set of pages or HTML sent back to the client, what Blazor WebAssembly does is it sends all of the DLLs for the application to run to the browser, except for all of the backend code. So you still do requests to the backend if you have a backend even. Using HTTP requests most of the time, you can do gRPC, SignalR, however you want to communicate messages back to the server. But yeah, so Blazor WebAssembly is a technology that says load and run my application as a .NET application in the browser. Blazor Server is run my application on the server. Hey, his meeting went over. Oh. I'm sorry. Run the application on the server and keep a live connection to the client, to any connected client, so that when they do UI changes, you will respond on the server, find out what needs to be changed in the client to make it look like whatever just happened. So you click on an expanded box or expanded menu item, and it expands. So then the server says, render what it would look like, send the differences of what it looked like before and what it should look like to the client, and then the client applies that to the appropriate place. So Blazor Server doesn't need any special things to run in a browser. It's just a server served web app, other than needing to have that active connection. Blazor WebAssembly, if you lose connection, the app will still work most of the time, except for stuff that relies on the server to work, especially if you make it a PWA. Then you can just run it when you're offline, even if you start the app before you have internet connection. Kind of stuff. So hopefully that at least gives you information about the differences between them, which might help inform your decision on when to use it. Not found. See? See this? Shared localizer service.not found does not exist in our dictionary. Is it because I have a different resources file for Blazor U? No, I don't. This is why it's good to not use magic strings. Thank you, Dukasoft, for voting on this one. We would not have seen this. So shared localizer resources, shared localizer service, not found. Should probably be nothing at this address. So I probably added it to here as nothing at this address and never updated the string that it was using. Exception thrown, not found was not found. We don't have localized values for the word payments, deposits, or transfers. And we didn't notice this because we would have gotten back the name, the key that we were trying to look up. So it didn't look like it wasn't getting translated. We would have noticed it if we had other languages. Wait. Oh, we don't have payments. Plural. そうだね. That's fun. And then I asked you guys about these. Like, in some countries, they don't use colons. Like, I think in Germany, they don't use colons, they use dashes or something. I can't remember. So if you have a label that you intend to have displayed with a colon in English, do you have that colon in your value, or just don't use colons ever in your labels. But anyway, Mojo, we still have 30 minutes of the stream ish. So if there is stuff that you want to talk about, the voice channel is still open. And we're just about done with this work anyway. As soon as I get these saved. And now let's try a build. Thankfully, I don't have any meetings scheduled for the rest of today either. I had two this morning, one that I completely forgot about. But I ended up still being able to make it to it. And then the other one is my normal daily stand up. But I don't have any other meetings scheduled for today. So I'm just going to be burning through the rest of my UI work, hopefully getting it as close to done as I can before Monday. Again, our next release is planned for the 15th, which is 2 weeks away. And for those of you that know, that's about one iteration. A little under one iteration. But that means that our code should be frozen today if we were doing things in a more DevOpsy kind of way. We should do a code freeze today at the end of the day. And then next week would be about discovering issues, fixing those issues, cybersecurity, translations. Yeah. But I still have a lot of work to do. I think I told you, but I have 3 features that I'm trying to implement. First one being responsive UI behavior, because I didn't originally create the UI with that in mind. It's a desktop app. But modern desktop apps behave a lot like web applications nowadays. Their answer for that's my issue with our web app. Yes. Modern or legacy applications from 1912, they didn't care. Like, if you resize the screen, the font size, like, one solution for sizing could be that the entire contents of the screen resize, including font size, resize with the size of your window. And that's how the original app worked. I'm like, I can't accept this. I can't let that be a thing. I'm sorry. Not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. So I'm doing responsive UI in a desktop application, which I'm sure has been around for a long time now, but I haven't been doing desktop apps. I've been doing web apps. And even then, like, I've been doing minimal responsive behavior because I've been relying on Bootstrap to do everything for me. And this is an entirely custom rolled CSS library. Ugh. So yeah, I'm doing things like the cool thing is that I found a coding guideline that they have at the client that I work with that tells me here are the breakpoints. Here's extra small, here's extra small min, extra small max, small min, small max, medium min, medium max, large min, large max, extra large min, extra large max. So I have Sass variables that I can use in media queries for those breakpoints. And now I'm using them so that when the window is small and smaller, max width small, max, then it collapses the menu bar, turns it into the hamburger menu. You push the hamburger menu, it expands, and then the rest of the page content is in a single column. I almost said row. In a single column down the middle. The problem is they have one specific feature that you can get to from the main page of this particular skin, that they want to be like the highlight of this page. They want you to click on this thing. And I don't really know where to move it when it's collapsed like this. Because it's like, here's a whole bunch of accordion style items, and then here is a card with the thing that we want you to look at and be like, ooh, I want to use that tool. And so I need to figure out where to put that card. I'm like, maybe it'll work in the same style as the rest of the accordions and just have an action button on it and always be expanded. Center the content and add some white space. Yeah, the thing is that the card is, you know, card sized, and then the expander accordion thing are like 30%, 40% of the screen width. And so the text content inside of the card and the action button might look good, stretch the whole way across. It's just that the title in it also looks like the same size as the title on the page. So that's going to have to change. Man. I said it yesterday to my wife, but it feels like I'm trying to do something that a person that went to 4-year college for UX design and implementation needed to do to learn, or they had to go through 4 years to learn. I'm trying to do that in 1 week. And I feel like it's just a completely different subject. It's not even in the same realm as technology, it's psychology and sociology. Mojo says, I bought a book for this. I don't buy printed material for technology topics. It's like, it doesn't make sense to me to buy printed material because well, I mean, like, I guess UX design has been around for a long time. So the concepts really don't change that much. But things like how to use C sharp 9 when we're on C sharp 11 or 12, the design of everyday things, and don't make me think. Yeah, exactly. And that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. It's a psychological thing that you do for your users. And so I've watched people like um, Calvin, Kevlin's his name, right? Kevlin Henney. They have very, very specific recommendations for UI and UX. But yeah, he has a lot of videos surrounding UI and UX design. Yeah, exactly. They're more conceptual rather than how to use X to accomplish Y. I also know a few UX people at Meta and or Ally. That's awesome. I don't. However, I work in a massive company that has a whole bunch of UI people, but those people cannot be brought onto this project to do this UI work because financial constraints. It's like, hmm. Can I still reach out to them? Can I ask them to look at this thing? All right, Hans, thank you for being here. Thank you so, so much. And yeah, we're here for you. Absolute. Billable hours is less than a beer. True, but that would also mean somehow finding out how to get a beer to them, which I'm terrible at doing in person type stuff. Like we have a lunch that is scheduled for the Colorado business unit for the end of this month. They want to do that instead of our weekly Zoom meeting, Teams meeting. What do we use for them? Teams. Which makes sense. I mean, I understand the whole concept of wanting to meet your comrades in person. face to face kind of stuff, but I personally don't need it, and I also struggle with it a lot, a lot. And I at least have one sympathizer with me in chat, so I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. And it's just so weird because it feels normal being on Twitch behind a camera talking with real people or internet people. I guess you guys are real. I know Dukasoft's a bot, non-bot. Um, but it just feels natural, you know. I'm a bot, beep boop. It just feels normal to me. Like if we were meeting in VR or AR, I would probably have the same anxiety feeling that I would have meeting you face to face. In fact, when I play multiplayer video games, like MMOs specifically, I get that same anxiety feeling when I'm around other players. And so I don't really play MMOs anymore. Like Christy, my wife, and I will play MMOs on occasion. But now that we have our favorite MMO on a private server, it's like if we want to play an MMO, we can play that one, and it's awesome. But we have like these tabletop games that are just phenomenal story. They're multiplayer. I'm a real bot. I would rather meet real life. What? No. Run away. Anyway, did we do the thing? Did we replace all of our square bracket curly brace or square bracket quotation mark things? Yes, we did. We no longer have magic strings that are doing our localization for us. Therefore, branch complete. Let's push and actually, I need to delete that source generator project because we aren't using it. First, open the folder location. But at least on Monday, we did see how to set up a code generator, source generator project. If I'm whaling, willing, yeah, absolutely. I was like, I'm not whaling. I'm quite content right now. I'm just checking in some code. Glitching, glitching, glitched, and live coding, everybody.
It's me, Peter.
How was your call?
It is all good. We are going through a
Awesome.
audit
I need to turn
for
you up in
SOC
my
2.
ears.
See, so they tell me that I'm gonna move. I'm gonna turn myself up by
No, no,
moving
no,
my
no.
little
Your
thing.
audio is looking good in OBS.
Okay.
It was just I
Okay.
had my
Okay. Okay.
headphones turned down.
Fair enough. I'm also muttering. Yeah. Happy Friday
Happy
morning.
Friday to you.
Yep. Yep. So, yeah,
No
it's crazy.
consequences of being
You do.
toxic, sadly.
Oh. Oh, on gaming. Yeah. Look,
Oh yeah.
I will tell y'all this is a very important programming thing, right? I have turned off all chat messages in Dota 2 and Rocket League. Dota 2, you
Mm.
suffer because you need team coordination. Rocket League, you don't really because it's too fast. No one can coordinate in that game anyway. So
But I found
all
that the
your
Final Fantasy 14 community is super awesome. They're really cool people.
that's I don't know how that happens. Good for them. For me, it's I say that your primary enemy is your team, and your lesser enemy is your opponent. So you have to defeat your primary enemy whenever
Yeah.
they start flaming you. And
Like in
it is a
MMOs, if
thing.
you're a healer, then that's a healer or tank. That's especially true.
They flame you for not doing the proper job or whatever.
Uh-huh. You're the reason we failed our raid. You're the reason this dungeon is done. Blah 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 blah.
Human nature. So
I
be it.
usually play DPS though. DPS support, squishy.
Um, yeah, I I swore off MMOs after the mud I got addicted to way long ago. So
What did you get addicted to?
it was a mud. It was a Daiku mud. And fun
What
fact
is a
about their
mud?
license,
Tell me.
uh, mud was it was just a telnet version of an MMO. It
Oh,
was
okay.
fewer people. So there, I think there were like 60 people on the server usually, or 100, somewhere around there. So that's all there were. And you would just do it through Telnet, and then people had, advanced Telnet clients to help them type things. So instead of healing, you would say heal this character.
Oh
You would have
yeah.
to type it,
Right. Yeah.
and you'd be watching the
Yes.
scrolling text, and it would tell you everyone's
Oh man, that
everyone's
sounds like a ton
health.
of fun though.
Well, of course it was. Apparently, EverQuest. The EverQuest mechanics were copied from the type of mud I played.
Oh, cool.
So,
Like I'm
so
not
if you
even being
were,
facetious. I think that that would be a lot of fun.
oh man, and no, it was, which is why I had to swear them off forever, so that I can just get addicted to games that last 50 minutes at a time, and then I can sign off after 8 hours of that. Excellent.
Nice.
Solve the problem. No, it's a joke, but we're talking about something. Anyway, gamers are toxic, but that's fine.
Not all
It's fine.
gamers, but yes, in general, massively multiplayer online games have
Mojo
toxic
and that
communities.
Mojo saying you can't flame your teammates if you have to type. Yeah, and that's mostly Rocket League. All the flaming happens after the point. Like, there's no time in Rocket League to flame people
Yeah.
except after after the team scores on you and they throw a what a save at you about 10 times in a row. I don't see
that's what
that anymore.
that's what I really really loved about Lineage 2. So like I don't remember encountering, well, I guess there were a lot of PKers. But I don't remember encountering a lot of douchebags. Not like when we switched to Arcade. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. Terrible community.
It's interesting that they do vary because you would think the same type of games. Because Counter Strike, man, this is boomer chat, right? Counter Strike servers back in the elder days, no one was toxic. Like, you would just play, and you were. I was terrible. I was consistently below 1 KDA. It was fine. Um, and we would do dumb stuff, and it never mattered. But then they had this whole matchmaking. My whole theory was the ranking, the MMR, the
Mm-hmm.
ELO, whatever. It's all. It was the thing that ruined. People started getting
Yeah. Oh
competitive.
man, the things that these companies do to make it more fun, aka profitable and addicting, are the
Well,
ones
that's
that
mobile,
just
but yeah.
destroy the industry. Well, mobile introduced a major issue, microtransactions and cash shops, but that's desktop games now.
I will say there is an advantage, which is if you're terrible, it'll match you with terrible people as long as there are some terrible people left to play. I am terrible. I am that because like I enjoy. What was it that I was trying to play? So I joined a Quake 3 server, or it was Quake Live or whatever. This was within the last 2 or 3 years. I
Wow.
joined because I used to play Quake,
I
whatever.
did too back in 18. I
Like
played Unreal and
1872.
Quake. Yeah. Thereabout.
Heck, we sailed on our boats across the ocean. It took 3 months.
No, no,
Um,
no. That's
what was that?
wrong.
That's what
It's
we call high
Columbus
ping.
sailed the something high blue seas in
Ocean blue.
1973. I
The
don't know.
1873. Perfect. I like how that correction. But yeah, that's what we call high ping, where crossing the ocean took a few months. High ping. Think about that. No, I
Nice.
joined a Quake server and I was so bad they vote kicked me, and I mean this 3 times. And you know what's great about me? They didn't vote kick me a fourth time because I actually improved in those 5 minutes enough that I was not a huge liability. Yeah, I was so bad they vote kicked me 3 times. I wasn't saying, I was just trying my best.
Yeah, doing your
Just
best.
it
You weren't purposefully trying to bring the team down. Trying to
I
play a
was.
game with other people. You were.
Well, I was
Douchebag.
terrible. No, I
Well,
was
no.
not purposely. I
Yeah,
was
see, that's what I said. You weren't doing it
unpurposefully. Yeah, yeah.
purposefully.
Correct, correct. But I was bringing them down. The end result was bringing them down. Anyway, the point is kicking because I was so terrible. I will also say arena FPSs I've never been good at, even when I played them. Like I think I bought like one of them called Toxic or something, and I joined a server. And of course, it was 1v1 because that's all the arena FPSers do. Guy sat still for like 5 seconds, and I wailed on him. I didn't get a single kill against this guy. Was made me a little bit sad. I definitely did not play a second game of that. I forgot which one it was, but I joined a server and it was so brutal. But this is why you need matchmaking. We're talking about programming, right?
Yeah, yeah, we're talking about matchmaking and programming, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Sure.
the topic we came to. This is close to the end of the stream when we talk about random topics anyway.
Okay.
It's like the
Okay.
things that I don't like to talk about on this stream, on this channel in particular, are like economic slash social slash
Gotcha.
political
Gotcha.
topics.
Yep. Oh. Uh. Yeah. Gaming.
Except for personality types and
I got
stuff.
you. So anyway, it's all good. We haven't even. I have not been watching because yes, we have been doing work. I've actually been doing incredible work today. Just want to let y'all know that.
So I since you read it off, I didn't actually read what Mojo Fawad typed, but he actually typed you can't flame your teammates if you have to type your spells. You can too, because if you mistype, if you do a typo like that, and you actually have a spell called that typo, and you're targeting your comrade.
Um. Yeah. That's why they need to like keep you muted while you're dead in a game. It's
Oh,
really just like
jeez.
that's why League and Dota just have this natural problem because you're like kind of naturally angry that you just died. There's like some natural anger there. You know, deal with your emotions as an adult, which is of course impossible. Uh, and then you're sitting there and you have nothing to do but watch your teammates who are clearly idiots once you start watching them because both games let you just like look what your teammates are doing. And this is from your perspective. And then you flame them, of course, because you've got nothing to do for 30 seconds. So, anyway, it's a perfect stew. Uh, anyway, it's all good. What do we got? New topic. New topic, chat. You know what's an interesting evergreen topic for programmers? Is Chat GPT. So, how is it useful?
It's very useful for me because I don't know how to write code. No. Um, there are a lot of stuff in WPF that I don't want to learn, and ChatGPT has suggestions that I can also use to look for the real answer.
So you use it as like a step one or maybe a brainstorming. Like here's a list of ideas.
Yeah. Like one of the major things was the whole topic of replacing the title bar. And I've already done a whole bunch of research on it for doing it in a Maui app. And so I'm familiar with it. So then I asked ChatGPT, how do you do it in a WPF app? It's like, use window Chrome. So then I'm like, okay, I'll try this window Chrome thing again. And I used more code snippets from it than the ones that I was using from my internet searches. And then I used the errors that I got from that to ask Stack Overflow, Google, all that stuff, and came up with a pretty good answer, except for the issues that I'm having.
It's a
So,
good
yes,
example.
as an inspiration stepping initial step or a single step in the process of doing research. Did
Interesting.
you see me using the Bing integration of ChatGPT?
I've seen nothing. I not nothing at all today. I've been
Oh,
furiously working. I've been incredibly productive.
oh,
I've had your stream on for an hour and I did not even look to the left, which is where your stream
well,
is.
that's awesome. I'm glad you're able to be productive. It's one of my favorite feelings.
Oh.
Unless, of course, you don't like being productive.
Time flies. I think the good part is that time flies. And otherwise it
Yeah.
doesn't affect me. It depends on what I'm producing. All right, here we go. Mojo.
Yeah.
He he uses it by it consolidates my Google searches, and I can talk to it like a human. I hate talking to computers like a human. For the record.
Do you prefer
Um,
CNC? Because I hate
what do you
talking to
mean?
computers using command and control.
I don't even. I all I know is when Siri, I'm not like, "Hey Siri, how are you feeling?" And how are your feelings today? Like I'm like, set a timer for 3 minutes, and then like it starts to reply, and I click the button on the side of the phone to mute it. After I'm pretty sure, like I just don't want.
You don't have to tell me that you're setting the timer. Just do it.
If I could say T3 minutes, if I could just activate it and say T3 mins, like I'd do that. Like I do. I have to learn their whatever grammar anyway. Maybe it changes a little with GPT where like or it's getting a little fuzzier on what it'll accept because even Siri is like very strict in what it will accept in a sense. Also, I'm like notorious for using the wrong word, so I say set an alarm for 10 minutes and then it figures out that I meant
You meant a timer.
so it doesn't
Okay.
figure it out.
I
Let me
set an
rephrase
alarm
that.
for.
Totally sets an alarm for 10 minutes from
Oh,
now.
it does.
Yeah, which is sometimes I leave it, but then it's whatever. Set a timer for your next stroll. Oh, oh, that well done, Duca. Dookie.
Do you feel a little heat?
Oh, it was very well done. That's
24.
very well done. Oh, and this is see, there's going to be a lot of discussion about this. I do think this is like it's turning the corner. This technology is turning the corner where it's becoming useful. I don't know what will come after.
Give you a shout out. Guys, if you don't know Live Coding, aka Peter,
He
this is
streams
him.
all the time.
He streams on
Stream all the
occasion,
time.
but when he does
All
stream,
the
it is a
time.
lot of fun in his stream. So definitely, if you're not following him, there's a heart up there. Click on it. It's good for you.
Keep almost getting motivated, but it's not there yet. I need some motivation because I sit down and I just don't want to. And it's a strong don't want to. It's not a like I will say like, hey, tonight I'm free. I could stream for 3 hours and then I sit at the computer and have the don't want to. It's like doing homework.
Mm, mm.
I also enjoy it once I start, but
Right. But the wanting
but
to actually start is kind of
and
at
by
the
the way, I was a
moment.
terrible student. So when I
I
say
was
it's like
too.
doing homework,
Absolutely.
for me it was all procrastination. Like I hated homework, hated it. So anyway, um, maybe that's can we can do some psychoanalysis, but I hated homework, and I seem to hate streaming in the same way. Sorry,
Mhm.
it's real. But
That's okay though.
anyway,
You're allowed to. It's not like you have a requirement to do streaming just because your name is live coding on Twitch.
just because I stole that username like way long ago, I was inspired by Notch. By the way, I don't know if y'all remember Notch did a weekend of live coding streaming. Just say a long time ago. It was a long time ago.
Back before streaming was a thing.
It was back. I think he did it on Justin TV and or may I don't know what
Right,
he did, but
right. I kind of remember
it
that.
it was pretty incredible. And it was one of those quiet ones where he didn't even stream himself. He just streamed like YouTube was. I don't even think the resolution on YouTube was good enough at the time to have like coding demonstrations. It was like kind of a prestige thing to have a video website that could actually render text well enough.
Yeah,
Like, you see what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah. I
Like, it was all
remember.
480p fuzzy.
Yep,
So, like, the fact that he could stream well enough to show code was pretty incredible. Anyway, it
I agree.
was new.
X gets
Of
the
course,
square.
it's
I do like Mojo's comment about he uses ChatGPT from the perspective of I don't even know what to start googling, so I just want to type a whole bunch of words into ChatGPT and let it figure out what the real terminology is, so I know what to research. That's definitely something I do.
I use Google for that. That's what's crazy. So, and see, this is where I need to start getting ideas from the rest of the world. We'll all figure it out eventually, but like, I do think that's like a good new thing you can do. Google will not really help you tune your search. It'll just
Yeah.
show you
Right.
search results, even though it is doing similar stuff as these whatever large language models. The generic term is large language models. The way Facebook's large language model, the raw thing, has leaked to the internet.
Raw.
So
Raw.
the raw weights, which is
Mm.
apparently what uh, everyone needs, but then how do I say this? Raw weights are enough for you to basically build your own copy. You just have to wrap an API around it. I don't know the details of this. All I know is it's all weights, gigabytes of weights. All right, Mojo. All right, foundations of OOP, preferably in C sharp. Oh no,
Nations of
Mojo.
Oop.
You only have 3 minutes, and first of all, you could ask ChatGPT. I'm joking. Don't do that.
Oh gosh.
I
That's funny
I
though. Oh, that's
yeah,
loud.
it's funny. I don't like I don't I don't know how to say this. Like, I think you will end
Conceptual
up in a better
courses?
place.
Go ahead.
Right, I'm
I
answering.
was I
Oop.
was just trying to guess.
Oh, all I'm saying is, you're building a web app, like, and I don't know, Mojo. I would say test-driven development by Kent Beck. Funny enough, I've only read 2/3 of it, but would also say probably practicing. Just try and build a Monopoly game yourself. Something that's not super data oriented. Not like a data. You're not talking to a database, maybe. So that's the only thing I'm thinking. Like, make a CLI command line game for Monopoly that just is super simple, and I think you will learn a great deal.
Yeah, because I don't know.
Um,
It's really difficult for me to think of why learning object oriented is difficult because it's kind of where I started anyway, and it just made sense.
really,
Yeah.
I me it definitely. I will put it this way: there's like a analysis paralysis I remember having when I was trying to design things,
Mm.
and I will say, test-driven development gave me the how do I say this carefully? Gave me the tool I needed to
Balls.
help me
Oh.
figure out the design. Maybe the way we're at 28. Anyway, it helped me figure out how to design things from the outside, design things to be used. That was a perfect. By the way, I'm getting flamed today. It's great. It is
You're getting
great.
blamed?
No, flamed. We talked about flaming from teammates. All right, self learning, how to do X. Most of them seem to why we're using. OOP is so icky. It's such an icky. No one's. I'm trying to find a single authoritative source that will tell you here's a good way to do it. I will also say
Yeah.
for um, business apps, I'm really in favor of Jimmy Bogart's Jimmy style architecture. It's called vertical slices.
You
That
told
basically
me about that
says,
one a lot.
and it like it will eliminate all the decision making, which is why I recommend it, especially for beginners. But that doesn't teach you OOP; it just teaches you to not build objects, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
and I will
I,
also
I
say I
learned
made
it
an
through.
abomination.
Oh,
Made
good.
an
Good.
abomination of a board game, and that's how. And it got 30% done. I realized it was an abomination, and then the next one I did was much better. So
The
that
next
is why I
iteration.
recommend a sample. Yeah. All right, you're
Yeah.
up.
I just learned OOP through intuition, I guess. It just kind of fell into place as I was making projects. Because it's like, what exactly do you study in OOP other than you have the basic concept of an object, and that object has properties and methods that you can get from other places, and the term instantiation and defining that. That that kind of seems like it to me, but maybe I'm just missing the full picture of what OOP entails.
4 pillars. Golly, that's an interview question. one, what are the four pillars of object-oriented programming? Sometimes they say five, by the way, and I can't remember either four or the five. Do you know the four or five pillars of OOP? You can ask ChatGPT as well.
It's four, according to this. Oh yes, and let's see what ChatGPT. Well, I don't want to open my ChatGPT.
Uh,
I don't want to
and we do
expose all
have
the things that I've been asking ChatGPT because they're work
to
related.
go soon because it is time, but
Yeah.
we'll just say encapsulation. Focus on encapsulation. Forget the rest of it.
Oh yeah,
Encapsulation.
encapsulation is probably the thing that I understand the least, and that's probably why I'm like, yeah, that's not a thing.
We'll describe
But
it. It's hide decisions. Hide decisions from the outside. Um, you kind of have to say it by example,
mm.
but hide decisions from the outside. That way you
So
can
it's almost
actually.
like saying something like, here is this overarching topic, and that overarching topic can be broken down into these two things. And then those two things have their own sets of stuff, right?
And here's an example. Authorization. Can this user view this web page?
Oh,
And
Joe.
because we use ASP.NET, we don't get to see this in a simple OOP scenario, but like there's a lot of decisions. Are they logged in? Yes. Are they a member of a group? Yes. Are they sometimes you have like an admin group that just blanket gets access to everything.
Right.
Are they in the gets access to everything group? And that's like a third. You hide all those questions and you encapsulate it. And of course, that doesn't totally require objects to do that. Just
Mhm.
literally listed something that could be a function, but I think that's the only valuable part of OOP about that. Yes, polymorphism. You got to do polymorphism somehow, but it's another way of saying anyway. Whatever.
Right. Yeah, and it's again, it's all of these topics that I don't think as part of specific to object oriented, but I guess they are.
Yeah. This is an interview question, and it's a bad one. So I don't think any of these things are useful except for try to encapsulate things. Like everything else, you're either doing or you're not. You're either
Right.
doing inheritance because you need to,
Right.
or you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Either doing polymorphism,
Yep.
usually because you need to, unless you like tried to shoehorn it into every solution. I don't know how
Yeah.
that's possible.
You use a
That's what I'm
shared
saying, right?
project, obviously.
Abstraction doesn't even make sense to me.
Oh,
Um, I mean, maybe
okay.
that's the deal with it. Abstraction and encapsulation, they're the same thing. This is
Yeah.
why, like, again, this is a horrible
So I can
situation.
definitely understand abstraction because that's how my mind works. It's like, let's write this thing that everything else is like. And then say, if you want to be one of these things, then you must have these things. I'll give these to you for free, but you have to define these other things. That's abstraction to me. As opposed to
Maybe
interfaces
that's
that are,
why
here is a set of rules that you need to follow to be me.
a contract, which I
Yeah.
also like that, but that's a whole different discussion.
Oh,
In so maybe I'm. Can you scroll down to encapsulation
yeah,
because I'm
absolutely.
curious now.
Let me
Like
zoom
it
in.
feels like I focus on encapsulation because that's how I can explain something useful, but I think maybe the useful parts of abstraction can be expressed via encapsulating things. So it's kind of like, yeah, why are you using a recipe metaphor? Use an auth metaphor. How about that? Auth code.
Your metaphor was better.
Yeah, I actually have a reasonable business case where, like, how do I say this? If you are a global airline company and you need to check someone's gold status, like, I don't even want to know how many business rules are involved in that. Just want the answer, are they a gold status for this flight that they are about to book? Right? Are they a gold status? Uh, are do I allow them into my what is it called? Elite lounge, my gold status lounge that only the premier customers get in? Like that's like an incredibly complex set of questions, and then you break it down into little things. You break it down to a simple question. That's a ton of encapsulation.
Oh,
All right.
yeah. Okay. So this is just essentially determining how to structure your entities.
Uh, all I'm saying is information. The other way is to say it as information hiding. I don't actually even know if I like this answer.
Yeah. Okay.
Protect the data. Yeah, information hiding. It protects data, but it's decision hiding. I'm
So
trying to express it by saying it is
yeah.
useful for this reason.
So then this also will address using accessibility modifiers. Is it public? Is it private? Is it static? All of those concepts too. Maybe, maybe not.
Yes, yeah, and it's whatever. It's not strictly a new thing. Like I used to do this in high school with my Turbo Pascal programs. So there you go. For
Just
school,
different ways to
had
search an
modules.
Excel sheet. So I'm trying to get that knowledge.
I,
Yeah, I
someone's
don't know
got to
how
do the
OOP will
Excel.
help with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
Wait,
if you understand the structure of how an Excel workbook is read into a um, object for something like I forget which one you said you use, but whatever library you're using, then you know it has a workbook that probably has all of the sheet objects, that probably has all of the cell objects. Open Excel.
Mojo. If that would be a fascinating topic for a live stream, is we just try and figure it out with you live
Oh
on
yeah,
the
that'd
stream.
be cool. We can try.
Yeah. You would have to make a what's it called? A safe repo that's public or something that we could work with. A safe example that we could work with.
Minimum
Anyway,
minimum example. But yeah, it is that time though.
at this time, you
Boo.
way past your time,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
It has been real. You've
Likewise. I mean, yes.
you're back.
Last words. Oh, no last words. He's like, bye. Gone. All right, y'all. Anyway, thank you so much again, Livecoding. You're always a joy to talk with. It's so cool having you here. It's awesome. Anyway, and again, I'm being honest. I'm being genuine. I hope I don't come across as dishonest, disingenuine. Um, but yeah, it's great. Greatness times, great fun. That is going to be the end of our stream though for today because I need to get back to work. Finish all of this UI fun stuff. Here's my ending screen. Finish all of this UI fun stuff. And Mojo says, we got work to do. But yeah, definitely Mojo. If you have time, and we can do it on your time during one of our streams, it doesn't have to be a community day stream since it sounds like it's something that is a pretty active topic that you're working on. We can definitely discuss it more on Monday or Wednesday, provided I am still streaming on those days, depending on how much work I still have / get done. But that option is there, and of course, Discord. Anyway, so that's it for now, though. I'll be back on Monday. I don't have any plans to cancel the stream. I never have plans to cancel the stream unless things come up by the end of today or on Monday morning that say, yeah. But anyway, that's it. I'm gonna head out. I will post this video to the YouTubes sometime after 24 hours. No earlier than 24 hours from the time that I end the stream. And I don't know if there was anything else. I think that's it. Oh, you know what? I kind of want to rate this guy. He never has any viewers. He's working on the HoloLens, and he's not really. I don't know. I don't really know what to say about him, but he's trying. He's trying really hard to do HoloLens related stuff. And now he has a VTuber avatar, which he didn't have before. So I don't really know what it is that he's doing today. But we're going to head over to Solo Solipsis. Feel free to hang out. Um, while we head over there. And I'll be lurking on his channel for a while. Okay, so that's it for me. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Solo Solipsis, isn't it? Live coding. He's doing something different. Rating might work. Who knows? It still might drop some of you, which I don't know what Twitch has been doing with this raid stuff. I've been there. But yeah, I normally hang out on his channel at least to give him some support. But I've been keeping fairly quiet on other people's channels, only talking in between work. But that's gonna be it. That's it. I'm done. iOS and TV Twitch doesn't follow raids. I was on my browser and I didn't get added to one of Bit Gaming's raids. What if we rated live coding? Start your stream now. Okay. Anyway, I'll be back on Monday. See you guys. Ciao. Cheers. Shalom. Fun times. Something about Discord. Something about the project. Oh, on Monday, if Thindle's around, we'll look at his PR where he's locking down main and adding stuff. Okay, bye.